I'm Mitch Patel, and today I bring you another video. Today we are doing a Blood Angels 11th edition Jump Pack Marine. Specifically, my goal is to try and replicate as best I can one of these veteran ones, but as not a veteran. Simply a Blood Angels Jump Pack Marine. Nothing too fancy. My goal is for this is basically try my best to replicate it as best I can with as few kits as possible. So, best I've done and made is using Blood Claws, the new Space Wolf kit, some 1mm like steel balls, and jump pack. That's it. That's all I've really used, and I'm surprised how well it turned out. So, let's get into it, and I hope you guys enjoy. Starting this kitbash, I grab my bits. Mostly, this kit is mainly made up of two. Well, correction. It is made up from one intercessor and a jump pack, specifically a Blood Claw intercessor. Just the Space Wolves, well, the new Space Wolves models of 2026. I'm happy with this model because it reminds me heavily of what they've shown on the new Warhammer reveals for 11th edition. It is just Blood Claws pretty much, just with different poses and no wolf iconography. Other than that, they have been heavily just Blood Claws as far as I'm concerned. The only difference is they've added more bling and more more relics to them. Other than that, can't complain. Now, originally I was going to use this skull I just clip in half for the chest, but I ended up not using it because it was too large. But I basically assembled a Blood Claw, removing the wolf iconography from its chest and other parts of it, and then strap a jump pack to the back of it. Then using a sword. Pretty much, I've just used a Blood Claw's body with sword, shield, head, plasma pistol, and one of the older swords that I could have gotten from the Horus Heresy weapon upgrade sprue. Would have worked as well, but yeah, it literally is just Blood Claws. I assume they've used Blood Claws as like a marketing situation where it's like easier to do a Blood Claw as like a tester model for the 11th edition drop. Only thing I do differently is take a actual intercessor's like shin extra armor piece. I'm not exactly sure what it's called. It's a little bit that overlays the the knee armor piece, and I just take that, carve it out, and then place it on this leg that has no shin piece. Is it perfect? No. Is it close enough? Yes. Do I care too much? It's alright. If it works, it works. Which it does. Now with that, now I'm going to add the molecular bonding stud. I can't fucking say it. My apologies. But yeah, to do molecular bonding studs, I take my scalpel lightly, very lightly indent the plastic with the blade, so it gives me a visual representation that I can easily melt away later on. What I'm going to do is take a pin vise with a 0.8mm bit and then 1mm steel balls and super glue them in place, giving me this studded shin pad. Which, to be honest, is it perfect? No. Is this my first time doing it? Yes. But, let's be honest, practice makes perfect. If you do practice it a fair bit, you'll figure it out. And get really good at it, actually. So, recommend practice it. It is pretty easy once you get a hang of it, but as you can see, I am not very good at it at the moment because I've only just started doing it. So, Practice makes perfect. Give it a go. Then taking this older looking chainsword and the newer one with the handguard, I attach those together to make this retro-esque, swashbuckling-esque sword, and then taking a plasma pistol. These are the loadout that I recognize from the Blood Angels jump pack, the Stone Guard veteran jump pack marines, or whatever they're called. And my idea is, I assume they're going to take a chainsword variant to some degree, because it doesn't seem right to just give them power swords, as other jump pack units do take power swords. Not power swords, chainswords. So I don't know. But if it doesn't, that's okay. I can swap it out at a later date. Again, I remove Space Wolf iconography, which is just a gem. Strap on this holster. Melt the little sprue bit on the top that I've messed up. But once in place, it works well enough. Though it does have a little pouch, which I mean, you can sort of say it is and isn't. But then I look at the Red Corsairs and they have them, so it's like, I can get away with it for now. Strapping on the jump pack that I stole from a model that I accidentally dropped and broke. I believe it was my Sanguinor. My Fallen Sanguinor or something like that. Or my Golden Wake. The Golden Thirst or something like that. I don't know. It's definitely from one of my many previous Blood Angels. I put on this. Yes, I do use blood claws, but if you want to take out like the Space Wolves runes, recommendation is using a little bit, an absolute little bit of AK Interactive grey putty, or just some modeling putty that's water soluble, and just putting a little bit over it, wiping away the excess, and then sanding down anything that's left over. But I didn't do that because I was in a bit of a rush and really did not care too much for it, because it didn't bother me. I won't notice it because I'm shade blind, so once it's painted, I won't notice it. Though I do put some sprue glue in there because I know people will get annoyed, but yeah. This is what the hobby's about, experimenting with things. Definitely I can improve this, but for a model that isn't released just yet, works out well enough for me. And it's not too difficult to replicate. The only problem is getting another... Well, is getting the jump packs. That if you manage to get like a handful of jump packs, either on eBay or bit sites, you can make a squad of these pretty easily. Now, I'm not 100% sure what the base size is. I've just gone for I think it was a 32 mil, 32 millimeter base, but other than that, works out well. Army Painter Matte Black, Game Color Scarlet Blood. I use this as a base coat for my recesses and to give this the beginning of red. Because I want to go for a very vibrant, dark-esque aesthetic for this. So getting a dark base coat down helps a lot. Then I'm going to use a Zenithal on top of that and then go on and go forth. Let's get into it. Model color, white glaze, used as a Zenithal over the red. Now, on video, it doesn't look like I'm doing much. I do come back and give it a second round of it because I wasn't getting the right coverage I wanted it from my airbrush exactly. So I do change it the consistency and make it a lot nicer. As you can see, there's the main reason why I did it, because it just splotted everywhere and it annoyed the crap out of me doing that. So don't do what I do, learn from my mistakes. Now using Game Color Scarlet Blood. In a slightly watered down state, I spray over the top to give it that nice vibrant push. Instantly making this model more dramatic, saturated, and looks beautiful. And it's a really easy scheme, to be honest. It literally is black paint, red paint, and a white paint. That's all you need to make this base coat. Then using the black paint, you go over and just slowly go about. Army Painter Matte Black. Just go about and just hit anywhere that's not supposed to be red. That's all the metal bits, all the details and everything that's not a main part of the body. I would recommend using a jump pack intercessor or a reference picture just to make sure you put colors where they're supposed to be. Citadel base, Nagaroth Knight. The reason I use Nagaroth is for the base. I want a very complementary colored base. So, purple. It won't take too much away from the model, but also look nice enough to be a part of the model. And it's super easy, so I don't have to worry about it. So, bonus! Army Painter Matte Black, Game Color Glorious Gold. Using this, I go about all the trim and all that. Mostly the relics, the trim of the on the shoulder pads. And I believe that's really all I do. Actually, I think I do the, handle of the chainsword. But other than that, that's it. Oh, and that skull, of course. Of course, you can't forget the skulls. Game Color Glorious Gold. I go over for a second coat for highlights. Because I only need two, because this thing is really nice. And then I just gotta hit it with a wash. And that's literally all you gotta do. Get it to a degree of believability, and then you don't have to worry about it. This is my favorite part of that painting. It is so easy to paint. Well, I say easy. Once you get a good hang of it, it's just, you can just go to varying degrees of skill. Citadel base, Lead Belcher. I use this on all the metallics, which is basically all the rivets, the chainsword, the little doodad, little like cylinder thing on the plasma pistol. If anyone knows what that is, please let me know. I have no idea. I've been questioning why it's got this little like drum thing on the plasma pistol for ages now. Still have no idea why, but cool enough, I guess. Hitting the mask, and now here we go. Model color white glaze. I use this, dot pointing it in the eyes and put it into the engines of the jump pack and then the plasma for the pistol. Just getting it started because I'm going to go blue plasma for the pistol and the engines, and then that will be, and then green for the lenses. That's at least the idea. I won't use a puff of white paint for this because I should probably use a puff, but I'm not. Game color fluorescent yet blue. Using this and just dropping it straight into the engines because of course I will, and then slightly dabbing it over the coils to give it that nice blue start. Now you can definitely enhance this if you just put the fluorescent blue in the airbrush and then just spritz it over it again just to give it that glow effect. I'm not too worried about a glow effect, as this is a tester model, so it didn't bother me too much. Then using Citadel base contrast striking Scorpion Green in 2 coats to give the eyes a nice vibrant green color. Now you got some mean looking blood angels, and you can stop here, perfectly fine. That's definitely just, that's absolutely tabletop ready miniature. Now I'm going to go add some more details to this to make it just push it a little bit further. Army Painter Warlock Purple. Dry brushing the base to give it a slightly more vibrant look to the purple and make it look a bit more alien. What this base is, no idea. It's just some like alien world where it's purple. In contrast extremely well with the Blood Angels color scheme. Nothing too crazy and nothing too tricky to do, though I will add a barbed bracken plant piece to it as well. Game color fluorescent blue, model color white glaze. Using this just to sort of intensify the glow effect of the plasma to make it look like it is actually hot and warm and show there is signs of coil heat. Is it perfect? No. Does it work? Yes. Am I happy with it? Absolutely. Model color white glaze, and I dry brush this over the top of the coils, hopefully trying to get a nice shine to them. It didn't work too well, but that's fine. I could have just made it into a wash or something like that, or a very contrast and just dropped it in top. That would have worked as well, but I didn't do it that way, so I'm fine with how it's turned out. It looks good enough anyway. Citadel base Dryad bark. Use this to paint the leathers of the pouch and to base coat the beginnings of the purity seals. Because you can't have a purity seal that looks good without starting painting them. So they'll be brown, and then I'm gonna use, I think, 2 other colors to make these look nice. Using decals, because I want to do some weathering in this, I grabbed the Blood Angels decal sheet from, I believe, 2014, I think it was. The one that had the Blood Angels, the Space Wolves, and I think Raptors. I think it was Raptors that were also on it. And then the numerical number for number 9, because the Blood Angels are Legion 9. Now, using Model Air Desert Armor. US Desert Armor, I base coat the miniature with a dry brushing method. Miniature? I mean the purity seals with a dry brushing method, just to make them look dirty. Like they've been old and worn. That they've used actual parchment paper. Or some paper, I don't know. I'm like 80% sure like the leathers are made from human flesh in Warhammer, so you never know. Model Air Ivory, dry brushing again to brighten up the edges and the folds of the miniature. I said it again. Of the parchment papers, the purity seals. Nothing crazy. Citadel base Lupercal Green. I use this to base the wax seals. As turns out, the Warhammer used red wax seals for the Blood Angels Stern Guard, when in fact Blood Angels use green wax. So I don't know. I mean, you can absolutely go any color. I just thought that was a bit odd because you can't really see the purity seals that well. I almost thought they actually had them when I was kitbashing this model. Citadel base Lupercal Green. Citadel contrast striking Scorpion Green, just to make this nice vibrant dark green. I don't know, it's just a nice shade in my opinion. And I use that to highlight the, well, purity seals. Nothing too crazy at all. And then I used a little bit to sort of darken the deeper recesses. I say deeper recesses, like the back end of the lenses, just to add a little bit more contrast to it. Then using Citadel base Granite Steel to highlight the blade and anything that's metallic that was used in, well, that Leadbelcher was used in to assist making this model look even better. Even though it's subtle, it works a lot and looks nice as hell in my book. Don't even need to do crazy transitions, it just works well enough. Army Painter Leather Brown. I use this as a dry brushing method to get this base coat the worn leather look. I do this to the pouch as well, so don't worry about that. Surprisingly, using a dry brushing method adds weathering so well to pouches and certain Warhammer models, and then adding some water to water it down, and then going over the parchments with it, and then using my thumb to whip away it from the higher edges. Then using Army Painter Monster Brown as a highlight color, we get in with it. I don't even know the hell I said. It just looks nicer, solidifying those edges a bit more, and just achieving a slightly nicer transition. Is it perfect? No. Can it be more improved? Yes. But it depends on how much your people are willing to paint on these models. I wasn't willing to paint huge amounts because you weren't seeing them very often. And then using a 1mm Sharpie, cut down to about, I think it was I have 0.5mm Sharpie because I cut down the end, because you can't actually buy a 1.5 millimeter, a 0.5 millimeter Sharpie, so you have to make it. But it made doing these parchments so much easier because I hate painting lines, repetitive lines. Now using an Army Painter Dark Tone. As a wash, I go over the whole model, being selective in certain areas, but for the most part being liberal in my application of it. In other words, I put a lot down in the dark spots, and in the light spots, it don't get much. I also purposely avoid the Space Wolf's runes because it will just show up better if I do. So avoiding them makes them hide them a lot better. Now, here are the final results. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you guys have enjoyed my 11th edition Blood Angel with Jump Pack. And if you want to see more videos like this, please consider liking, subscribing, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. And if you really enjoyed it, check out my Discord down below. I'm trying to build a community, and your joining will help a lot. Alright, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!